Welcome, everybody. This is webinar, The Easy Way to Get Structural and MEP Openings in Revit. My name is Alex, and I'm working in Agacad as a BIM application engineer. Our work here is to make engineers and architects work easier and the experience with BIM smoother. And one of the apps which helps to work with that is CAD Opening. That's the one about which one I'll talk today. But we also have a lot of other different apps. You can download them from our Tools for BIM doc from our website, and they have 14-day free full version trial. So CAD Opening is a BIM software for fast opening creation. It allows to create openings for the MEP elements, and it allows to create structural openings and structural model according to architectural model where windows and doors are placed. So that would be our scope for today, all the things which I've mentioned. And with that, I'll begin our live demonstration. We'll go straight to my Revit MEP project with linked architecture. And I'll begin with our Tools for BIM doc. After downloading, you'll have it here in the toolbar. It opens like this by clicking Show Doc. I'll just extend a little bit more. Here you'll see all our tools, and by clicking on one of the tools, you will get the possibility to choose either some functions or all tool at once. We'll have all of them installed. Yeah, and you'll get possibility to click on Install and get activation key for trial. After installing, it will look like this. With CAD Opening, there also comes tool sort mark, which is very useful, not just for opening creation, but in all the engineering phase. But today we'll talk only about CAD Opening. One more thing I want to mention, there is a small button here, and it allows to add our tool to the toolbar. So if I'm clicking this one, it creates Tools for Revit Create Modify tab. Our tool is placed here, so it's easier to work with it when creating openings. I usually work with it from here, but today I'll show it from our doc. And from our doc, configuration can be accessed by clicking on Configuration. And here, Openings Configuration, Configuration for Accessories, and configurations for doors and windows. We'll talk about the last two later. We'll start with the main function, Openings Configuration. These configurations can be created different ones by clicking Duplicate, Save. It's possible to save them on your computer or your network and have different locations, maybe even for different projects. That all would be under your control. And in this window, you would describe how openings should be created. Let's look at round duct configurations. You will see three tabs opened up: Cut Offsets, Join Openings, and Interference Check. Right now, Cut Offsets is open, and top part shows which information will be inserted into opening. So mark created with opening would be RD for round ducts. For rectangular ducts, it's just D ducts. And it's possible to tell our tool how opening elevation should be calculated. Would it be from level above, from project zero level, or shared zero level in the project? And until where, to the center of opening, bottom or top of opening. And in the bottom is the part of cut offsets. With our tool, you can apply cut offsets depending on the element size, or apply defined opening size. How those are different. Apply cut offset would look at the size of the duct from, for example, here it's described from 0 to 100. It would create round opening. It's also possible to set rectangular opening. And cut offset would be 20. So if the duct is 80 millimeters diameter, then 80 plus 20 from both sides, it's like plus 40, so 120 millimeters diameter of opening. And if we would click on Apply Defined Opening Size, we would have to write here what should be defined diameter for all the ducts which fall under this category from 0 to 100 millimeters. And so on. We can add as many steps as we want. And that's the main part about cut offsets. Everything can be just described in this small table. And if we choose a rectangular opening, it's also possible to add some additional top cut offset or bottom cut offset, which is pretty useful with cable trays. I'll keep round opening for round ducts. The next step would be setting how and when openings should be joined. Here we describe what intersection offset should be. If two MEP elements are closer than 50 millimeters from one another and the tick is placed, then openings will be automatically joined. And the last setting is interference check. This is created in case if duct or other MEP system doesn't completely intersect the wall. So if the duct goes until the middle of the wall and stops, or then fitting begins, maybe we don't want to create opening there, then we can place tick here. We would require full interference of wall by the MEP element. If full interference is present, then opening is created. If there is no full interference, like in this picture here, then opening would not be created. And all those settings are very similar everywhere, except for pipes would be added opening size by outer or by nominal diameter of the pipe. And for beams, it's all the same. It just, instead of interference, it allows to add some additional depth when beam is inside the wall. Opening is created not through all the wall, but with some depth from the beam. And I think I'll save with this settings under MEP configurations. That would be mostly it from creating configurations. The next step would be to find to what to apply those configurations. And that would be native Revit function, collaborate, interference check. And we would run interference check in current project. So it's pipes, ducts, and cable trays, and linked project architectural model for floors, and let's do walls. It's also possible with ceilings, with beams, or columns if you would need to create openings there too. So I'm clicking Export, Openings, saving the file. And the next step would be to apply our created configuration to that interference check file. That would be already done through Create Modify tab. In toolbar, it would be creating configurations here and read interference check that data here. And it's the same comment from here. I'm choosing that my file of openings and applying my MEP configuration. And as we see here, it's written that some interferences were rejected by our configuration because full interference expected for these round ducts, and they were not completely intersecting the wall, thus openings would not be created for them. If sometimes you get notifications here that some settings are missing, there will be, instead of review, just a small button of add all, and it will automatically add those configurations. It's possible to review them later. But this one is okay for me, and I'll click Next. This will open the first control window. Here we'll see all the interferences which we have, and on the left here we can filter them out by level or by element type with which interference was made. And if we need, we can modify some specific cut offsets if we have some maybe more curious situations. Also apply other parameters as additional cut offsets or change marking. But since my rules were created pretty well, so I'll just click on Save Data as XML. Again, openings. And already that XML file which I just created can be shared with different engineers who have cut opening, and they will all be able to insert these openings even if they don't have MEP file linked in their file. So it can be shared with everybody. But now we'll stay in MEP model. I'll just go to the first floor view. I have different ducts, round rectangular ducts, some pipes, and cable trays in the hallway. So since I created interference check for all the elements, I'll just do insert openings, next comment in our tool, search for that file of openings with combined configuration, click next, and we'll get the same window as before, just for some maybe final adjustments if needed. It's also possible to add or remove columns of parameters if you would want to change some other parameters. And already here, we need to choose what kind of openings we will be inserting. We provide both void openings and solid openings. Void openings would be inserted in structural model, and they would cut geometry, cut the walls. And for the case when structural model like here or architectural model like here is linked to MEP model, it is actually not possible to cut real holes in linked project. So we created solid openings, solid families, which would represent the openings. So I'm choosing those, and I've added some coloring, orange with the color of our tool. And actually those families will be on your computer, so you'll have all freedom to modify them, add additional parameters as you need, or change preview colors. That will be all in your control. And I will create openings maybe just for the first floor. By clicking here, it'll filter all the first floor, so it wouldn't take so much time. Also, it's possible to click, for example, on pipe and filter by selecting data. In this case, openings only for intersections of pipes would be created. But I will remove all filters to create openings for all MEP elements. Just clicking Insert, Modify, and overall we have 81 openings, some of which will be joined in the process. So at first they're inserted, and then our tool will show a small tab of how to join the openings. And we already have here two categories: create new openings. There will be stored all the places where openings were not created, and created openings if we would want to check or change something through this table. Small roundup, 81 opening, 22 of them are joined. So I'll close this window. And as you see, at all the places where interferences were, openings are created. I'll just jump quickly to 3D view so it'd be easier to see. And as you can see, where elements were very close, openings were joined. A little bit further, not joined. That all depends on joining offsets. If we don't like some joined openings, we are always giving the possibility to unjoin them. That's this command, join and join openings. So just click on opening and join would separate all the openings to the separate ones. And that's from creation. Next thing would be what happens if MEP systems are moved or structural elements are moved. For that, we have openings revision, and I'll just quickly show how it works here. It would work the same if MEP would be linked, but now I'll just move MEP elements, this duct from the way, and for this duct, I'll increase the width to 300 millimeters. So two openings should change, and upon clicking on openings revision, we'll get the same table as we've seen before. Just two warnings will be shown to us. One that element moved, and another that dimensions changed. As long as same IDs are kept for duct and wall, so an intersection has same IDs, opening will be saved. But if we add some extra duct now, new opening would not be created upon opening revision because that interference is not registered in interference file. So yeah, like I mentioned, cutting element changed position, one element. If it would be more, we can choose all of them, agree with last changes, and it is moved to a new location. Second dimension change for MEP element. And this opening became bigger. This one was put in the proper place. But of course, we're always free to modify openings by ourselves if we want to add some additional cut offset. It'll be done very easily. And then upon opening revision, we will still see that something was changed. But in this case, if we click on agree with last changes, our tool will remember that the human wanted to change this opening. It'll save this specific cut offset. So it will not make the opening smaller. Agree with last changes. And it will save these configurations which we've inserted. If we've done some changes, it's recommended to, again, do export created. It'll create additional XML file where new information for openings will already be written. And if you share that file with others, they'll get new updated openings. And that would be it for opening creation. I will just quickly delete all the openings inserted. For that, we also have function delete all openings. That just removes all openings from the project. And why I did that, I want to show you how fire dampers are inserted. For fire dampers, we have additional configuration, and it's called map host element types to duct accessories. It'll check all the walls which are present in the project. And there is a parameter, fire rating. You can add maybe other parameter of your choice. And I see that these walls, the thicker ones inside walls, they have some fire rating. And for them, if ducts intersect them, fire dampers should be inserted. For round ducts, this fire damper, for rectangular, this one. Upon clicking OK, I can go to create modify again, insert fire dampers, and I need to choose again interference check file. I can choose the same openings, but I will do accessories where I did interference check only between ducts and walls. So I'll choose this one, click next. And again, we can choose on which level hole will be inserted. As you see, these ducts were chosen. In places like this, I want to specifically mention if duct does not completely intersect the wall or there is not enough space to put a fire damper, our tool will not place it and later show the table of warnings that some places are, or some intersections are missing fire dampers. So that you should pay closer attention to those places. But if everything is okay and there's enough space, fire dampers will be inserted. And like I said, there are some places where there was not enough space, like this one. But for this duct, there is a fire damper inserted. Also, in this wall, it's the same type of wall. Fire dampers were inserted for both ducts since there was enough space. And that's how it works in general. And now I'll probably close this MEP model and we'll go to insertion of structural openings. So I will not save the changes. And I'll just open the structural model in which I have, again, architectural model linked. And we will bring openings for doors and windows from architectural model to our structural model. So this is the 3D view, just project browser. And as you can see, if I would choose to hide architectural model. We just have structural walls, and also inside I've made all the walls as structural. I'll bring back architecture, and it's visible that in all the window spaces, these are doors, and window spaces, there are bricks. For that, we have one more configuration. Again, cut opening, configuration, door window opening configuration. And here we have insert to all found walls. So in the case if instructional model there is more than one wall in this place, we can describe how far our tool should search for walls to insert openings. Maybe we have 3 different walls. Then how to join openings. If they are not further than 500 millimeters, and that's adjustable. I will not join openings now. And there is one more setting, extend opening to structural wall base. So in case like this, these doors are raised by 200 millimeters from the structural floor. And if the stick is not placed, opening will end where the door ends. But if we place the stick, opening will extend to the floor. So I'll put the stick to show how it will look like. And after this small setting, we just need to do insert, update door window openings. Already here, we don't need interference check file. It'll just scan the project. And we see that we have different levels. And I'll probably insert only for the 5th level because I know that all the walls inside also have doors, and openings for those will be inserted too. So it'll be actually a lot of openings, as you can see. So clicking OK, and then next step is to choose family of openings. These families will also be installed with installation of our tool. So openings for windows and openings for doors. We'll insert doors now, choosing M door square opening. OK, and our tool will just go to insertion of all these openings. And it takes a little bit of time. If I would have chosen all the building, it would take a little bit more, but not too long. And that's what we have. I'll just click on another view where I see just windows from architectural file. In this view, I just turned off all the walls. And we see that openings were created to the bottom of the floor. And how it works, it takes parameter from window or door, which is called rough height and rough width. And depending on these parameters, creates an opening. So we have all openings for doors on the 5th floor. And if I would choose now all the link of architectural file, there are doors inside, as you see. For all of them, openings were inserted, opening families. I'll bring back architectural windows. Same would be for windows and not settings. Insert door window openings. User would just need to choose window opening family. So again, have already created openings and create new openings. We can create for all the building. Since we have way less windows, choosing window opening, and it keeps already. Or did it choose door opening? That would be interesting. And openings were inserted for windows. I just need to choose architectural file, hide it, and we have holes for windows, and on top floor for doors. And here there are all doors, so no openings here. And well, that would be it from the Revit presentation. Just want to mention trials are for 14 days. They're free and they have no limitation in functionality. All the functions are available. It's possible to get all the tools through our Tools for BIM doc, which can be downloaded via this link. And we actively support 2 last versions of all our tools. Right now it's 2020-2019 versions. If you have any other questions, feel free to write us at support@agacad.com or directly to my email, aleksandras@agacad.com. For today, that would be it. Thank you for your attention. Have a great holidays and bye-bye.
Agacad, building BIM together.